Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. I've got a very special video for you today. You probably could tell by the thumbnail. This is something where we start to connect all the parts and pieces around the world. No small task. I mean, the globe is a pretty big thing, but somehow there's a group of individuals that decided to bring people together from the four corners of that world. And as you well know, sometimes the world is not enough. It takes people like the people you're going to meet today that have created, bootstrapped, if you will, James Bond fan clubs. And they all bring something very unique to the table, not just the personalities, not just their point of view, but their journeys, the stories of how they did this. And they're going to be also talking, dare I say, giving you a sneak peek at the things in the future, a vision beyond today. Tall order, but I know these guys and gents can do it. So without further ado, let's start to introduce them to the show. First and foremost, all the way from the beautiful, beautiful country, one of my favorites, of Switzerland, we have Marcus Hartmann. Marcus, welcome to the show.
Thank you, David. Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I hate that we're doing this because the last time you and I spoke like this, I was sitting in your wonderful, wonderful home having a beer with you. This is not as good.
No, that's not. But I mean, it's the best we can do on a Monday evening to connect different countries, different time zone. At least we can enjoy this one together, hopefully. Looking forward
Absolutely,
to this.
by any means necessary, right? So, Marcus, talk to us, introduce to the uninitiated viewers out there that are watching you and go, I recognize that guy, but tell us about your association and, of course, the Swiss Fan Club.
Yeah, who's this funny guy with this strange accent? That's a Swiss trying to speak properly English. And I hear one of my friends in UK already laughing out loud, but that's another story.
Doing a great job.
Well, Marcus Hartmann, I'm the president of the James Bond Club, as you have been kindly introduced already. For people who haven't heard about us, we are a non-profit organization. The club was founded on 1st February 1996, so we are celebrating our 26th year. Had a big celebration last year, which you probably will remember, which we did in true style and a nice video and all, but that's too long. I mean, for me, we have about 300 members at the moment from currently 10 different countries. 80% are from Switzerland, but we do have members from all over Europe and even from the States, from Canada, or Japan. So it's what I never understood, but it's really nice to to have Japanese members. So if they listen to that, hi, finally see you. And well, that's about the club. We're a non-profit.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about what we're doing, or
no? You know what? We're going to get into that story. That's a perfect send up. I love it. Good. We want to give everybody this. Call this the appetizer because we're going to get into the main entree of trials and tribulations. I've warned all my guests today that this is going to be kind of like the Barbara Walters special. It's not going to be all softball questions, but we need to invite more people. This is not two people don't make a party. So this next gentleman right now hails all the way from the wonderful country of France. We like to call him the irrepressible Mr. President himself. We've got to invite him in. Luc Leclerc, welcome to the show.
Leclerc, you will try to do it well one time. Leclerc.
Leclerc. Listen, if you teach me once, I'll only forget 5 more times, so that's not bad.
Okay, thank you for your open invitation. It's a real pleasure and a very good idea. It's the first time, I think, and Marcus can tell that again also. So it's the first time that you will have all these young guys all together at the same time, and it's very difficult to see us for the real, and with the internet, it's perfect. It is the good occasion. Yes, the French club is a little bit younger than the Swiss club because we are only 25 years. So it was a few weeks ago. And I am the president for 20 years now. I think I am the older president. And it's always a pleasure. After all this time, when we do the things we do, the things we see, the people we meet, it's always a pleasure to have this magazine, the event, and the people we have all around us. It's I say always that saying, see, alone I can do it, nothing. Fortunately, I have an exceptional team for a long time now, and they stay with me. And sometimes people ask me, when will you stop? I don't know. When I will find someone to go away with the club, why not? I think I found someone, but we need to build a team with this guy. So
Well,
the French club
Luke,
is a long story.
Luke, I've got to tell you, I have to warn you, you're only president for life, as they
Yes,
say.
they told me that I need to die. Maybe I need to die.
Not
Something like that.
tonight.
No,
Not
no,
tonight.
no,
We
no.
need you for at least
Not
a couple
tonight.
more minutes. Although it would make a great video if you did. No, no, no. Don't do it. Don't die. This would be, it would be terrible. But no, I love it. I love the send up. I love the passion that you both. And by the way, we both literally have come from just probably a month ago when we were both celebrating and breaking bread and eating together at the same table for the 60th anniversary. It was great.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Of course, yes, it's great. We have many things to do again, and the next guy you will introduce told me one day we have to meet, we have to build things all together, and I agree with that. My dream, and it's only a dream, is to have an European club with all these people and all this speaking, all these different opinions about the movies, the books, etc., etc. And so it's a nice dream, but maybe we will do that in one day.
Sometimes dreams come true. Let's see if we can start to make that happen, because we're going to invite the, I like to call him the effervescent Andreas Pott to the table, the German James Bond Club. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here with all of you.
We're glad to have you, for sure.
Yeah, you expect me to talk, I think.
Just a little bit, but not to die. Like Luke is all ready to die, which again would make an incredible video,
Yeah.
but not the purpose of this evening.
A few days ago, I was, or the German club, the James Bond Club Deutschland, was the youngest club in among the European clubs we have here tonight. But this is now different. We will see that later. We are not so old. We only have 8 years now. 2014, we founded the club. About 260 members now. And as I like to say, we have to be, or we want to be, the home of the James Bond fans in Germany and the first address for James Bond themes in Germany. And we're still on the way to this, but we're on a good way.
I love it. And I love the vision too, because each one of you so far have talked a little bit about the forward motion of the club, that it's not just about the people or the numbers, that it's about the ideal of bringing them together. And our last person in this party for the evening also has that same dream and vision to bring people together, but possibly from a European standpoint in the English-speaking world. We have to invite to the table Phil Dowers. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, everyone. How are we all?
We are doing great. You look very Brosnan tonight in that outfit.
Well, yes, I actually did. I was going to watch it, but then I realized I had this very important meeting. So, well, I am the new president of the British James Bond fan club, 007 GB. We have not been in operation years. We've been in operation for 17 days. So, yes, I have taken that crown, Andreas, of being the youngest European James Bond club now. And yes, the vision is to bring the English-speaking world together, not just people of Great Britain, but people from all over the globe who celebrate love and have so much time for James Bond. And with these fine gentlemen here on the screen, I think across Europe we can do some really quite interesting things in the future, for sure.
Yeah, I love something that's happening here, and we're going to get into the why of all of this is coming together, but it is coming together. I think in the past, many of us who are watching this right now know all of your individual, except for yours, Phil, since it's 17 days old, fan clubs, and have often wondered, is it a magazine? Is it an event? Is it a club where you get a card in the mail? Or at the heart of it, is it really about people coming together? Marcus, talk to us about the why. Why don't you start here? Because I want to go around the room and ask each one of you, why do you do this? I know for a fact that these things take an amazing amount of stress, time, and often money. Why do you do this?
Why?
You're asking yourself the same question.
Yeah, sometimes. But where to start? I mean, I'm now in my 10th year as president, so about half of Luc still working on that one, trying to catch up, but I'm not getting any younger too. When I go roughly from the start, that all happened when I was applying as an extra in Quantum of Solace in Bregenz in Austria, and there were many people, many Bond fans, and I got to meet some people who talked me about the club and say, why don't you come? And say, well, I love the movies, but I'm not sure if I really want to be in a club. What are you doing? And I asked the same question. So they invited me there. I like the people, good spirit, and eventually they talked me into to become a member. That was in 2008. And I believe 2012, I was asked to join the board as a consultant. I didn't know the first year what that means. I mean, didn't do a lot of things compared with today. I had to organize a cake once. That was good. And to sort out the Christmas card, that was half a day work. But besides that, well, that's another story. And then 1 year later, I was asked if I want to step in the shoes of the former president, Daniel Habertür. And that was a big step ahead. But they really talked me into that. Don't want to stretch the story too long, but it was in Andermatt, in the Bergy deal, where the Sean Connery stayed, obviously for Goldfinger. So it was the perfect place. And after a few martinis at the bar, it was 2-3 martinis, maybe 4. They asked me, what do you think about getting on board to become the new president? So why me? I say, yeah, well, we looked at you, we observed you the last years. You seem to be a nice guy. You talk more decently, some languages, and I think you're the man for it. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. But next day, I'm like, I really it was too late to pull out. And so since then, I'm doing it. And as long as they want me, the members, and as long as still have fun doing it, I might do it for another few years. That's about the short.
It genuinely seems like, at least when I've spoken to you about it, you genuinely seem like you have fun doing it. And that's a thing that people must know, that there's a lot of time and work associated with this, but you seem like you take great pleasure and enjoyment out of it.
Definitely. I mean, sometimes it really, the last years, it takes sometimes almost all my free time. And sometimes it goes a bit on the edge. I mean, that even my wife says, oh, Jesus, Bond again. I say, yeah, I know, but, there's always, so you have to do some compromise. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, if you pull up an event, and then sometimes I'm asking myself, and I'm sure my fellow president friends will agree, you sometimes ask yourself, why I'm doing all that work? And again, as Luc said before, you can't do it on my own. I have a team, I have friends, because you can't do that on your own. But if you have an event and the people, are happy, and thank you, Marcus, thank you to the club, then you know why you're doing it, because it gives so much pleasure. And at the end of the day, it's about connecting with people, making new friends, share the same passions together. I think that's the ground we probably all of us are living from.
Absolutely. And Luc, you are, and I'm not going to exaggerate, Luc, you are world renowned for being very magnanimous and really embracing everybody. It doesn't matter from France or from all over the world, which is why I think people affectionately call you, Mr. President, even beyond the fan club, is because you do embrace everybody. But I'm going to ask you the same question. I know you work very hard at this. I know it's a lot of stress. Why do you keep coming back, to your point, 20 years later, day after day?
So first of all, it goes very fast. Okay, it was 20 years ago. I think in my mind, it was last year. So I have so many stories happen in 20 years that I start to write everything on a white book. Maybe I say to the guys, when I will be dead one day, you will publish everything I have to say because I have incredible story. So it first of all, it was a trap. I am the president because I fall in a trap. the president before, the founder, President Pierre Rodiac, asked me to come to the board to be with them and to share the difficulties of the club and so when I come in the board, maybe 1 week after, he told me, "Oh, I want to leave the place of the president. I want it could be you." It's the same story than Marcus. I say, "Oh, me?" I say, "Yeah, no problem. I have time." I said to my wife, the first wife at this time, I said, "Don't worry. It will take a few times. That will be easy."
Yeah, exactly.
It was something incredible.
Maybe.
Because first of all, I had to change everything. Okay, first of all, the team. I want my team to work with me. So I said to the pleasant guy that we meet again today, "Sorry guys, but you can stay in my board. I want my board." So I change everything, and so we start to make the magazine in color. That is the first, because in the beginning it was a copy, black and white, something like that. I say we will ask to the people more money to do this beautiful magazine that you know today, and then we start also to do events and events and events every year. Every year, I think there is, even for the COVID, we've done something in Paris. Okay, every year we've done an event with stars who come to us. We've done this magazine, 4-5 magazines a year. That's crazy. That's crazy because it's a lot of work to do. And Marcus and Andreas can say to do their magazine is complicated. When you do 4 or 5 magazines a year, that's crazy. It's completely crazy. But I have always the team, the thing I said to Philippe 2 days ago. So if you don't have the team to do this thing, you can do nothing. Today, we are maybe, I say with a smile, we are maybe the biggest today because we have 387 members in the club. So I have about 10% who will leave to David very soon because they speak English, the English people, American people, so they will leave the club. David, you owe me money. Give me money for the guys who go from France to England. So that is the game, and I'm very, very happy for that because we have all these fans around us, and they are always waiting something from us, and we have to give them. I don't want to tell you a secret, but I'm looking actually to do an event much more bigger than the thing we've done in October. Ooh. I say every year, I say we can do it better. It was the maximum we've done. Okay, no, never. That can happen. We will do something, but something more European with all the club, all these guys on the screen. We have to do something much more bigger. But I had first to take some contact and ask a few questions to these people if they want to help us. But that is, we love Bond, we love the movies, the books, etc., and we love the people. I think that is we can share that. We love the people who come in the club and they pay money, 100, 200 euros to do things, to be a member, to be in an event, and we have to. And so now the people are waiting for us to do something more. So that is very funny. I love that.
Oh yeah, people are demanding. I mean, first of all, what I'm hearing really resonate with me is that all of you so far, and I could speak ahead to Andreas and Phil, love creating things. And if creating things around people, what's going to happen is people are going to just humanly want more. They're going to want that next best thing. It's like when you watch a great Bond film, you don't expect the next Bond film to be shite. You expect it to be even better, which is why we get crushed sometimes. But speaking of creativity and creating things, I mean, Andreas, we have to go to you and ask the same question, because one thing I've noticed about the German fan club, Deutschland, is that amazing amount of creation online. So you've got newsletters, you've got Facebook, you've got a very active group online. But when Andreas, German efficiency aside, when he removes his head from the pillow and dreams about why he does what he does, Why? What keeps you going?
Guess why? Yes, first of all, because I love James Bond. Because if I did not do that, I could do any other things. And the second is I love projects. I love projects to put on the track. And when the James Bond Club was just an idea 8 years ago in Germany, I'm one of the founders, of course. It was a project, and that was something I wanted to do. I wanted to prove that we can do it better than the other club in Germany, which did not exist anymore, did it. We want to be bigger. We want to be more watchable or seeable in the James Bond world. And we want to be the address of James Bond, not only for the people which are the fans, but for everybody who is interested in James Bond. That is something very important to me. So we do media work, for example, very specialized. When a new Bond comes out, we try to get radio interviews, we try to get TV interviews, we try to get events to just be a guest there to represent the James Bond fandom and James Bond the community in Germany. That is something what's very important to me. I have a big team and a good team for this too, so I do not have to do all by myself like Luc and Markus have their teams. The events we do events, of course. Markus and Luc have attended some of them. We do most of them for the German fans. Of course, international fans are there, but most of it is for the German fans, and sometimes it's quite regional. My hometown is a small village. Markus and Luc know it, in the wine country here in Germany. And we did the event last year in the town next to it. And that is for someone who comes from Paris or from New York City or something, or London. This is very, very much a side of the road. But I love to do it here, and I love to do this event especially because it fits together with all of this. It was a one I loved most because it was not so easy to organize, but it worked out in the end with all the things. And so the project worked, and we do go on with the projects. And the people who come together with this are a positive or more than positive side effect. For me, personal, it was never my intention to meet so much James Bond fans and to learn from them, but I did, and this is something I did not expect. So this is something I have for myself. The club profits from it too, but this is something I take for myself to have met you, David, or even if it was only virtual until this, and to have met Markus, who was one of the initial sparks to build the club, because it's another story, and to meet Luc, who was the first when we went to France to say, oh yes, we have to meet, we have to come together, come to Chantilly, and we'll have a good time there. So I learned from my colleagues to do the job as a president in the James Bond community, and what I can bring in is my quality in doing the projects right and the managing things.
I tell you, I'm loving where this is going, because I warned my viewers that this would be a psychological exploration of these gentlemen, lest you think this was just going to be about the clubs. What I'm hearing full tilt, and I'm no psychiatrist, I just play one on YouTube, is that truly you all have this discipline and this drive where probably somewhere somebody said either this doesn't exist, or this can't be done, or this is impossible. And you all said, you know what, damn it, I'm going to show them wrong. I'm going to show them that we can do this. I'm going to get a team of people with different superpowers and different skill sets and experiences, and we're going to make this real. And so everybody knows in this group here, it is so difficult to take something from nothing and make it a thing that people want to go back to and feel emotionally connected to. And yes, this is my segue into the youngest president, literally and chronologically, of Phil, because Phil, are you describing his penis? What are you doing there?
I say it's a little president.
Oh, little president, mini president.
He's so young. He's so young.
Listen, I know Phil. There's nothing mini about him. He's got a personality as big as the globe, and he's going to need it because I want to start off, Phil, talking about your why, because I hate to be like this, but there are so many things against you possibly with this, where people have tried this before. This thing doesn't exist. It's not like you're adopting an existing fan club. You're bootstrapping this. So why on earth are you doing this?
I mean, it's just something that I know that people will enjoy, and I'll enjoy it. Just the same as these three said, they get enjoyment out of putting on a good magazine or a good event. I will get enjoyment from seeing my existing friends and my new friends and people I don't even know enjoying the world of James Bond because of something that I was responsible for in some fashion. Whether that's just the initial idea, getting it going, it doesn't mean I'm responsible for everything that comes after. I have the team to build. I've already started that. I've got 6 good people. And that's because of the presidents you see on the screen here. They said, they beat that into me. From the moment I said I wanted to do it, they said, you will not be able to do it alone. And I said, oh, I'll be able to do it alone. Arrogance, youth, whatever, and their experience. And they showed me that you need people around you, and you do, because it's not just for me. So I need people from all walks of life, for people that are coming to Bond from different experience points, whether it be the clothes, the cars, because they shared it with their grandfather, because they liked watching it with their brother, whatever it may be. So having all those people together to decide on the direction of something that can then go out into the world and say, right, here's an event, and 6 to 10 people put that together with all different ideas, with different considerations for everybody. Because we all know if I was the only one to organize it, it'd just be a bar.
As he takes a drink, that was perfect timing. Well, I will say, Phil, one of the things I've observed, even in the last few weeks, months that you've been doing this, and I want to talk very shortly about Luc and you sort of ideating this a little bit. But what I've liked is when you built your charter, just like Marcus, Luc, and Andreas, it was never in the beginning about an event or a magazine or a card or a thing. It was never about something you could hold. It was about something you feel.
The heart.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was at the heart of Bond. Isn't really even a movie or a franchise. The Bond community is about all of us connecting and enjoying each other and feeling that escapism in a very difficult world. And I remember, Phil, when you started to build your charter, this was about galvanizing people in the English-speaking world and beyond, but together with these gentlemen to try to create one global entity that comes together. I thought that was so big and exciting that somebody should try to tackle it.
Absolutely. And I'm the one who stuck my head up. And then thankfully these guys are here, and people like you as well, David, to steer me in the right direction and to make sure I don't get my head blown off.
Well, I can't imagine, first of all, thank you for starting to shoot the elephant in the room. We'll keep the gun thing going. It's the United States after all. But there are people that I'm sure will say things like, well, this has been tried before, or it's too big of a task, or you're not going to be allowed. But Luc, I'm going to ask you and Phil maybe to describe, why did you both feel like this was the right time?
First of all, the club was already done when I came, so there was a basement for the club. And so I learned something. All of you knows that I meet Barbara and Michael recently. And one moment in the interview, Barbara said, I love everything the club's done in the world. You in France with your nice event, your nice magazine. She talked about Switzerland. They've done event. So we don't want to take an approbation for the French or the German it's all the club. No one is on the top, and it's all of us, because the question was, what do you think about the club in the world? We are doing this movie for you, David, for you, Marcus, etc., etc. So when I say, but what do you think about there is no club in England? I said, yes, that's crazy. She said, yes, that's crazy. Okay, David, you can go. Fuck your club, do it now. You can do it. She say yes. She say yes. But don't forget one thing. We have no right to do it. It's normally it's forbidden. 007 is a trademark. The music is a trademark. A picture is a trademark. Everything we can do. But they let us do the thing, as I show you, for the magazine, for the things. We put picture inside. Never, no one asked me nothing about it. Never. Wow. Maybe one time, where did you get this picture? I said, which picture? Page 12. Oh, yes. Well, on the web, we don't know. We found this picture. We will give you the picture. So they ask only, oh, we didn't know this picture. Where did you get it? That's all. Because they know that we are non-benefit, non-profit association. That is very important. If you forget that, you are dead. Yeah. Many people try to do money with James Bond, so now they regret a lot. So I think when you do a nice job, like the guys around this table, and when you do things with the art, that is the most important. When you do, they see that, and so they let you do the things. And when I went to London a few weeks ago to talk with them, I saw that they are very pleased that we are doing this job. That is very important, because all my life for president, I say to me, what does they think about us? What do they think about the French magazine, the French event? We don't know. And when I asked the question after 20 years, I said, what do you think about the James Bond fan club in the world? I said, oh my fuck, I asked the question now. That's great. So
so it's funny you mentioned Barbara and Michael, because I have a little surprise for all of you, all the way from London, England. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine if they were on the show? No, they're not here. They're not here. They're not here. I just thought it would be great with the story. But it is interesting, because I think you're right. There seems to be, people view this as restrictions and obstacles. What I think I like about where all of you are going with, obviously, the new one, Phil, that you would be overseeing, is that so many people have learned along the way. You know where the holes in the floor are. So you've done some painstaking movements to really make sure that, number one, you don't fall on them. Number two, you don't create any new ones where the fan clubs might be looked down upon.
Yes. It's when you're sat across the table from somebody who has a lot more money than you, you certainly don't want to misstep, because it's no skin off their nose to shut you down if you're doing the wrong thing. And that's part of the problem some of the older clubs faced. They did try to monetize in certain ways. We're all non-profit. All of my events are going to be raising money for charity. Everybody who's working for it is a volunteer, and I'm not using any of their property. Sure, using the 007, but not in a for-profit, or we're using reasonable efforts and best endeavors to make sure that we stick to the rules, because it's not our property. We're celebrating it. But time has shown in across multiple mediums, if you're not monetizing something, you're usually okay. And we're all respectful people. We're just trying to have fun and trying to enjoy something that they've put out there.
It's important, especially if you have a soapbox or a megaphone or a pulpit, whatever you want to call it, that reaches quite a few people. I know that my own channel, I demonetized it years ago. And it's been great, because it opened up a whole other opportunity first of all, the amount of money that would come in was negligible anyway, but there's something about not having commercials and things like that. And I'm going to ask somebody for, $5. That doesn't make any sense, but it opens up a whole new world. Now, that being said, obviously to keep the lights on or do events, it does cost money. But Phil, I think you've started something very interesting with the club where, at least for the first year, it's more about getting people into the club than any kind of financial. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Because, the other three clubs, they're established clubs, and you've got a team on the board there, and you've got a magazine that's already up and running. You've got smaller fan meetups and cinema screenings, and then you've got the marquee events that are usually held annually. So if you're paying for a membership fee for for the Swiss, the French, or the German club, you're getting something for it because they're already in that game. With the British club, I can't ask you for some money for something that I can't give you yet. I'm asking you to jump on board on the idea. I have everything mapped out and I know what I'm doing and where it's going to go. We will have a magazine, we will have an event. We already built the website that's coming soon. But all I'm asking people for is the administration cost of posting you out. Cheers, Marcus. Of posting you out a membership card and various other bits. $9.95 for the UK and $15.95 for overseas. It is just covering the cost of those packs. But for that, you get costs. That's it, exactly. And for that, you get your 2023 membership complimentary, where there will be an event and there will be a magazine that comes at the end of it. But I can't ask you for money for something that I'm not yet providing. So I've put some of my own money into it to set up the website and to do various other things. And then the members are just being asked for that small cost. And incidentally, it must be, I must have hit the right note with that, because in 17 days, I've got 151 membership registrations so far. That's with amazing. No advertising, just a few Instagram posts and, the Swiss club, the French club, and a German club, everybody jumping in there with some retweets or whatever. There's a demand for it, and I just want to build it. I don't want to put people off. If I saw it on the website, it was £70 to join. I'd say, who are you? Why am I paying you £70? What am I getting? I know what I'm getting with the Swiss, the French, and the German. I'm getting a great experience. But with this British guy with nice hair, what's he going to do with £70?
Listen, don't dismiss how nice hair is really vital to these clubs. I mean, you all have great hair. So.
Be in there, please. We did it different. It's not so long ago, 8 years, and we founded the club with 14 people, and then we got out with some advertising, but we needed the money, because if we asked for the €50, and the members in the first time only got a membership card and a voucher for a book, but nothing more. There was nothing announced about events or something, but we needed the money to raise to publish our first magazine, for example. Sure. So we did not want to go in with our own money, of course, that way. And that worked out too, because we got the money and we had enough money to do the first magazine with club money. That's
exactly what I'm going to do for the first magazine. The first magazine is not going to come out until the end of 2023, because I need actual content. We need to have had a year of celebration and events and whatnot to actually put the content in. So by that point, I will have offered the people a membership package for 2024, and I'll use those funds to publish the magazine. That's the intention anyway, because I don't want to be dipping into my pocket all the time, of course.
And I want to really strike something home, because as somebody who's either honorary or official member of all your clubs, which is great, and I enjoy them, I do want to say that magazines and events and cards and things like that, they're great to have these wonderful sort of mile markers along the year to really make you feel like you're getting updated and you're getting something. I will say the things that you've all created, though, this feeling of belonging and connection and driving people together is not something that comes between pages of a magazine or an event where you show up. It's really what you've all created, where people I hear this all the time where people feel very alone and siloed. Sometimes they don't have neighbors who enjoy James Bond. They don't have a group of people they can meet at a pub. But belonging to these clubs makes them feel like, you know something, I'm not alone in this. And just coming out of COVID, where we were all isolated, this feeling of being alone is probably the worst aspects of depression. So I look, you don't have to pay to ever not feel alone. That's not what I'm saying. But these clubs, Phil and Luke and Marcus and Andreas, I think at the beginning, and the reason why you've all come together collectively on this show is because this is about connecting people together with their passion. It comes in many forms, including magazines and events. But at the heart of it is our heart, is our connection together. So
yeah,
I think you have
absolutely.
to have that
and that's what I love about particularly the Swiss magazine, is that the magazine comes out and it celebrates the things that the members have done the year before. Yes. Now, I can't understand it because I don't speak Swiss German. So there's only ever been one article that I understood in that, and I wrote it, and I thought that was quite good.
But you can see the picture. You see the picture.
Yes,
that's nice.
I feel like a 3-year-old looking through your magazines, just looking at
the
pictures.
Same for me. It's the same. It's the same for me. Oh, I know. It's my friend.
That is why I have the French magazine, because they have the best pictures. Yeah.
There you go. Don't they just?
Next to Playboy, of course.
But that's it. You've got to have the experience and the connection before those things come. So for me, the fact that my magazine's a year down the line doesn't worry me in the slightest. It's bringing the people together. I've read every single membership application I've received so far, and some of them have put some quite nice things in the message section or additional comments that speak to, I won't reveal what they say, but they speak to their personality, my personality, and what the club will mean to them. And it does go to what you're saying, David, about sometimes they're like searching for something, and I read out, I am so happy to have this. This is something that is going to make a big difference for me. A one-liner. And you think, wow, okay, so I am on the right track. The initial thought that we all had at one point or another, it is bringing people together, and that's fantastic.
It is. So, Luke, let me ask you, this was very purposeful that obviously the four of you come together. Less of an endorsement of Phil and, obviously the British James Bond fan club, but more about the importance of everybody working together. Why does this need to be something that everybody works on together?
Because we can do all this guy. We can do a club by ourselves. We need people to help us. We used to say we have people everywhere, and that is true for the club. That is true for the club because I want just to say something about the magazine. The magazine in the club is the most important things. Because you have people, fan of James Bond, in the middle of the Black Forest in Germany, on the mountains in the Alps in France, and they don't come to the event because it's too expensive. It's Paris, it's Berlin, it's Stuttgart, it's too far, and so they have the magazine. They come at home and they read it and they put it in the library, and they are happy. So that is very important. The basic is the magazine. That's why we try in France to have 2, 3, 4 magazines a year, because that's a way to connecting people. That is the best way. And so, as I say before, you have to like people. You have to have all these people around you. For example, I have a very good example. This afternoon, Roman from the Swiss club wrote to me. He said, "Hello, Luke, how are you? We need in Switzerland for the next magazine the interview you've done." I don't remember who, someone, we had the interview. I said, yeah, sure, of course, we will give you. So we will give you the interview in French. And so good luck. Try to do something in English, in German, as you want. That is, we have to share all together. I said to Philip many times, what do you need? What do you want to put in the magazine? We have the article. I have people, like in Germany, in Switzerland, we have people who write the article, the interview, etc. We have to share all the things, because people in England, in Germany, or Switzerland, they are not member. Some of them are not member of my club. So we have to give that is a good idea that Andreas had a few weeks ago. He said we have to talk together. We have to do things together, because we are all fun, but it's not the same people in different countries. So we have to share. We have to do things together, and I love that. That is a very nice project because we have to move forward, and it's maybe the way to help the young clubs in England to do things better and better. And so we have an experience. We can share that with them, and one day the English club will be the biggest one. I'm sure. You will be.
There are more clubs than we see here on the screen. There's an Italian club which contacted me and made me honorary member by themselves. They wanted to do that, and I think they are quite new at the market. Let's say at the market, and we have to make contact with them more intense too, I think, and the Spanish club too. That's not so much people in there, but so we can build at least, and in the James Bond community there is no Brexit. We can
have a United Nation
community
of
of
fan
James Bond
clubs.
clubs.
Yeah, let's have a United Nations, because I know that there's also a very large Japanese one as well that has a huge following that I think could connect all the pieces. But Luke, I'm gonna feed off of something that you and Andreas just said, where sharing your experiences is huge. So for Phil, this is for you, Phil, and you can look back on this video years from now and laugh. But what I'd like to do is, Marcus, Andreas, and Luke, we're going to start with Marcus first. Talk to Phil about just one of the biggest challenges as a leader of a James Bond fan club he's going to have. Talk to him about one of the biggest challenges. And if you want to give him the solution, that's good too.
You better give me the bloody solution.
What's a tough spot or a tough challenge that you have? It could be time, expenses, people.
That's a good one. I mean,
I thought so.
Just one question. Just one thing. How many magazines do you want to do, Philip?
One per year.
1 year. One per year. Okay.
Initially,
well, I will say this, as Marcus is thinking of this, one of the things that I've noticed, Phil, correct me if I'm wrong, but you showed me behind the scenes the build. One of the things that Phil has done is he's making a very immersive and interactive website that the members are going to be able to add and change. It's almost like a Wikipedia of fan clubs. So it will live 12 months out of the year, really. And that's going to have articles, images, and information. Did I get that right, Phil?
Yes. In lieu of having enough club money to do a magazine now, they've kind of built the framework for the website to be an almost an Instagrammable magazine. It's a cross between a magazine and Instagram, where yes, on a weekly, monthly, or however often they want, club members can send me articles, and we'll add to them as well from our editorial team, and it will just grow and grow and grow. And then quite a lot of the stuff that's in the website will go into the magazine. So it's just a creative idea I came up with in lieu of the cash for the actual club magazine.
All right, Marcus, hit us with your challenge. You got it.
I had time to think about, but I like to take another approach from my personal experience, because when I jumped on board, that was 2012. I told you before, was a consultant, and as organizing a cake and getting to Christmas cards kind of wasn't fulfilling. So I was thinking a bit ahead, what can we do? And as I always thought, we never had any Bond guests. You know, we were doing nice events. We went abroad every second year. That was all good and nice and a long time ahead. But then again, I was in London and I met Caroline Monroe, Naomi, that we all know from Spy Who Loved Me, Caroline, and Jane Grimin, her agent, her friend. And I had this vision. I said, we would like to do for the first time in Switzerland an event with a Bond guest, because it's always a hard start. and asked, and I had this vision, we have Caroline, we need a helicopter, we need the Lotus Esprit, and I want a photo shot for every member. That was my vision, basically. And I talked to Caroline, and she was talking to Jane and saying, I really want to do that. And said, ooh, okay, that sounds interesting. So I was full enthusiastic. I went back to Switzerland, next board meeting, had a meeting with all my fellow board members. And I said, yeah, I met Caroline and I want to invite her. We can do this and this. And everybody was like, hey, cool, great. But not to offend my former, but a good friend of mine, former president, said, no, we're not going to do it. I said, why not? So we have never done it. We don't know how to do it. We don't know how it works financially. So I don't need it. But don't you think if we provide something better, different, new, that maybe more people will approach, will participate, want to be part of that? To say, yeah, we never had. We need at least I don't know how many members. I said, yeah, okay. So it was no. And so I was very disappointed. 1 year later, make a long story short, I got elected as president. And the first thing I put on a special board meeting and said, we're going to do it anyway. So that was the first event, 2013. We had this, I got my vision. We had the helicopter, we have Naomi, we had the Lotus, everybody got his shot. Andreas was there. That's where we met the first time, I believe. And it's so great. So what I want to basically say, if you have an idea, if you have a vision, never take no as an answer. And I had to learn from that. And from there, the second year, I wanted to invite, we had Goldfinger Reloaded for the 50th Jubilee. It was already much easier because people gave confidence and say, yeah, that was great. We're going to do another one. And so that was bit by bit building up. But you need to start first. And if you have a vision, if you have a dream, go ahead. And maybe few times you will fall down. Not every dream can be possible, but many are. So that's what I strongly believe. And I'm sure, Philip, we have a lot of discussion. Became good, very, very good friends, I may say, the last years. And I'm sure together or Philip alone, I've no doubt, will pull up something really extremely amazing.
Gee, Phil, you should just put that endorsement up on the website.
I know, right?
Call it a day. My gosh. So, Andreas, tough act to follow, but Marcus has got a good point. There's going to be naysayers, and don't take nay for an answer. What do you think?
Yes, that's true, because sometimes when I explain the project that I want to do, the guys look at me, no one say anything. And maybe the guys, the money guy, Olivier Lebaz, he said, are you sure? How much it costs? We don't know yet, but don't worry, we will find the money. And the guys look at me and say, go, move, do what you want. We will find the solution.
Trust.
Yeah, that's true.
Andreas, what do you think? Biggest challenge that you could throw?
I think the most challenging thing is you told us it's all about the people, and that's right. It's about the people in the positive way, and maybe sometimes it's in a difficult way because it's very, very hard sometimes when the first heat is over to get your people to work. You have a team, of course, and you are now in the first wave. You have founded it, Philip, and the team is enthusiastic about it. Let's look 3 years later, and they have to do it with the same power, and you have to motivate them to do this. That's sometimes difficult, or that was sometimes difficult to me. So I had to change some people to have new ones in, to have more emotional power in it. And it's sometimes you have some members now, and Luke has 300 and something. We have 260 about, but we have some very active members, of course, but they are often not of the same opinion with you, and they try to take influence in the club, and this is something you have to deal with. You don't want to lose them, but you don't want to have them to overtake everything. Yeah. That's kind of politics. The most difficult things in this club in Germany for me is the politics. And that's a challenge you will have too, I think.
I think I will. Yes, I agree.
I think that's appropriate across the board. It's almost like, well, it's not almost like, it is like a company where you don't want every decision made by committee because it'll slow you down. And you also, what do they say? I don't know the keys to success, but the keys to failure are trying to make everybody happy. you won't make everybody happy. So it's a very good point, Andreas. Excellent. Well said. Luke, we need a pearl of wisdom from you. Phil needs it. What do you think?
I just want to say
this will take a long time where he finds one.
So, Philippe, the force is very particular in your family. Call the force. You will see. That will be easy. Yes, you're true, David. But when you put one more time all your art, all your passion in the things you want to do, the people follow you. Never, never, never. I had someone to say, "Oh, it was great, but we should have." No, please don't say that to me. Don't say that to me. Yeah, it was great. Everything is happy. You have seen something you've never seen before, and you will never see again. So you are happy. Oh yes, that's true. Yes, I am happy. Yeah. Okay. Call the force. It's finished now. So no, we have to do things and to share as usual, and that's it's not easy, but we have to, that is the job we have to do. That is the job. Yeah. So when I take the presidents such a long time ago, I say I want to drive this club like a company. The guys look at me like that. We're a company, but we are a club, an association. We are all friends. No, we are not all friends. If something goes wrong, it's my fault. If something goes well, it's everybody is happy. So we will do that like a company. And so today they are very happy about it because we have many magazines, we have a very nice membership card, we have nice event, pretty good website, and it's only the problem it's in French. So I would like to do something in English, but no. Okay, we stay French.
But I say, even beyond the French, I will say this: for many, many years, obviously, Luke, until we met, we knew each other from afar. You all have really embraced the globe. I mean, you really have. I know that you have your own geographies, of course, but I don't feel like it separates you. It's sort of like everybody's welcome. Phil, based on what you just heard, or maybe just based on what you haven't heard, I have a very tough question, but it needs to be said. And by the way, it should also be said to the viewers, none of these gentlemen received questions ahead of time. There was no preparation, which was very important, that this is from their heart. Phil, what does good look like in 2023? Right now, you're building up membership, you're building the base, you're building the website, but ultimately, what does good look like?
To pull off an event, pull together some members initially. I'm not displeased with the numbers. I said to myself, if by the end of 2023, I had 200 members, that's fine by me. I know it'll grow in further years, but initially, I just thought, give me 200 people that actually care, because those are the kind of people that have signed up for my club. They're really taking it's a crapshoot. It's either going to work out for them or it's going to be a waste of a very small amount of money. So for me, it's to pull off an event. Doesn't matter whether it's star-studded. It just needs to be an event of quality with the right people. I mean, it will be star-studded, of course, because I'm organizing it. But said that with no humility whatsoever. It's if I can stand there and just take a moment as everybody's enjoying whatever event it is, we're all together, they've all got a drink in their hand, and I can just hear in little bits of their conversations as I'm stood there. That's what good would look like in 2023, knowing that I was instrumental in bringing that together. To see that in the corner, these three guys have got a few representatives of each of their clubs at my event. They've hosted me so many times at their wonderful events. And just to sort of quietly lift my glass up and do just a nod, say anything, just a nod to know that everybody was happy and that we all got together because of James Bond, and that it's brought it home to Britain, to the English-speaking people. That's what will look good, so that I can actually understand what's all going on for the whole day. See, people say, "Oh, you drink a lot at these events." Yeah, because I can't understand anything anyway, so I might as well be drunk. So to have it in our own language would just be wonderful.
I think that before the internet, the British club, English fan club, had more than 2,000 people in this club.
It was
so now
quite huge. Yeah.
Yes, that was incredible. And so I'm not agree with you. I think that you will have more than 200 people. I'm quite sure. There is one thing which changed everything for all of us. Said when they will announce the next movie, the next Bond, the next story, the next filmmaker, everything you want, we will have suddenly more people coming to us, to Germany, Switzerland, England, and France. And so,
And that's
yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say that's the moment where we need to coalesce as a European group for the next film, to join forces, to hold a huge European premiere for all of the club and the club members. I think that's something that we could very easily do with me riding on the coattails of all your years of success and me being the fresh and young thing that's making some noise. I think the combination of all those, with the Swiss, the French, the German, and then the new kid on the block, I think that would be quite appealing to the powers that be, to give us some sort of special premiere for everybody.
So England, you will be on the first line. England will be on the first line. That's the first premiere will be in London, as usual.
Yes, I'm talking about one for us.
Yeah, exactly. Phil, I think those are powerful words because, I mean, I do have a dream that more and more as time goes on, like you say, the powers that be, and we can leave everybody that up to their imagination who that is, but start to lean on fans and fan clubs to really take a pulse on what people want, what they need, the passion behind it. And because we're dealing with professionals here, I think you've heard in the last hour that people came with this, whether it's Marcus, Andreas, or Luke, came with it from a professional standpoint. They didn't take it lightly. Yes, there was passion and fandom at the heart of it, but that was the spark. The thing that kept these fan clubs alive and powerful and growing is discipline and teamwork, all the tenets of a good company, if you will. So we're not talking, with people in their basement with a single light bulb hanging above them. We're talking about professionals that happen to be fans. And Phil, I think you fit the bill. Quite frankly, I think that you bring that. You've run a successful corporation, but beyond that, you've got the passion. And I have to say, I've got to call it out, people, because nobody was brought onto this call with a gun against their head. Marcus and Andreas and Luke, in your corner is a very powerful thing that others before have not had. What do you think?
Yeah, Philip, you are not alone. You are like E.T. You are very far away from your home, but you have friends with you.
I like that. And by the way, I love the dream of a global event. Yeah, I mean, there has to be, of course, events for each of the fan clubs, sure, but something that brings us all together, whether it's in, British mainland or, someplace else, I think would be a powerful day.
I think we have to be heard. We have to be heard. Luke has a foot in the door with having met Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson. Maybe Michael G. Wilson will be out when the next Bond comes out, but Barbara Broccoli will be in too, or still be in. Well, and we need to be heard as a European voice of James Bond fans. And if France has a good voice and a loud voice and is heard in Great Britain, Philip will be too. Germany has no connection, by the way, to Eon at this point, and this is something we are suffering from.
They know all of us. They know
us. Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't. They talk to you,
not
but
Philip,
they don't.
Not Philip,
so,
but they know you
because we are young. Yeah.
Well, I will say this first of all. To your point, Andreas, nobody has a louder voice than Philip. And I mean that in the most loving way. But second of all, Luke has a good point. I mean, I know I can speak even from a YouTube or social media standpoint. Eon keeps everybody at arm's length. Luke has a nice connection with them. But to his point, they know everybody. And to that point, I do have a little surprise. All the way from England, ladies and gentlemen, Barbara Broccoli. No, still not here. Still not here. Sorry. Not going to happen. Sorry, but
wait a minute. I called her.
Mean, David.
It's almost like Charlie Brown in the football. Like when Lucy takes away the football and he anyway. First of all, gentlemen, I want to thank you all for being here because this last hour has been very important. Not only, I think it was important for everybody to hear your journey because it's very similar and yet you have different journeys, but to see you all, to really connect that this is an important way forward. Philip, you've got a lot of great people in your corner. You've got a great team, of which many of the team members are here. So we just want to wish everybody the best luck. I'm going to give each person a little sort of farewell or whatever they want to say to send Phil on to this happy, happy place of making this successful. But Luc, why don't you go first?
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas to all. And so yes, I have something to say that the last archive is coming out. Like
Beautiful.
Archive about Jamaica. Only James Bond for the 60 years. Incredible picture again, and incredible text in French, of course. And in the next magazine, who's coming in few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, you will have the interview of Barbara and Michael in French and in English.
Oh, nice.
We put both of them. So we have many projects. We have, and as I said to Michael and Barbara, I said we are living the best moment of James Bond. It's like with a new girl, you climb the stair to go to the room. It's the best moment. And with you, we are waiting for the next movie, the next.
So French. So French.
Yeah, so French. Yeah, that is the mojo. That is the mojo.
I'm going to write this down.
Thank you.
I didn't realize I needed to climb the stairs to have sex. That's what I've been doing wrong. Okay.
This is the strangest advice I've been given for a club.
So we are waiting for the next story. We are waiting for the next story, the next filmmaker, and the next actor. That's all. And she said, "Yeah, give us time. There are many things to do. So and they will do something. Don't worry."
Love it. Love it. Like you have that connection and that relationship. That's so good. So Marcus, your last thing to say.
My last thing for always.
Forever.
I don't hope so. Forever. That's gonna be no. I mean, this is going into a slightly odd direction, but I only can. I'm looking so much forward because Philip and me, people who know us we go way back before all this. It was not even about Bond. So before you all got to know Philip everywhere on Bond, we already had a very good and strong relationship, friendship, I might say. It is, and I'm looking so much forward. I'm looking so much forward to have more fun, more adventures together with all of you guys, and I can wish you only the very best for it, and we'll be with you.
Wow, well said. All right, Andreas, bring it home.
Yes, Philip. Okay, we only met once, but I think we will meet in the future more often. I just want to give you one thing maybe you did not think about now. If you're a Bond fan and doing a Bond fan club, you will meet other fans, what is good. But if you are president of a James Bond club, you will meet people you never expected to meet and be an ambassador to the James Bond community and team. Let me give an example. I just had a presentation on Friday at the Lions Club here in my town next to me. They invited me to do a presentation about 60 years of Bond in the cinema. As a James Bond fan, I would never have been invited, but as a president of the James Bond Club Germany, I am invited. And this is something that will come to you too, and this brings a network you never expected. And that's something I want to give to you to look forward to.
I appreciate that advice. I've been flying solo for quite some time at these events, and I can play fast and loose with jokes and whatnot. But as the president, I'm going to have to behave. Not too much, because I'm still British. Yeah, right.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because, Marcus, you laugh. I have to tell you, and Phil, I'm going to be transparent about this so everybody can see this. Many moons ago, when you first introduced this idea to me, the first thing I said to you is just like Andreas says, as an individual, as Phil, you go to these events and it's about, you should have a good time as an individual. Maybe you bring your son. You have to make sure your family have a good time first, then you have a good time. As a president or as a leader of an event, it is about everybody else but you. And that's a difficult thing to cross over. It's never going to be about Phil. And if it is, it's other people making it about Philip. But you have got to be like a father or a parent with many, many children. And you have to see to their needs first. And then last, you get to eat.
Well, over a decade of looking after Marcus, I think I can manage this. I think I can manage this. No, it's that's why I did so many events this year for myself, because I knew I had this thing in my head that I wanted to do it, and I'd said to Marcus I wanted to do it. I'd said to Luke I wanted to do it. So I thought, well, I'm going to get it all out of my system now. Play silly buggers all year, because next year I'm going to, like you say, eat last. I'd like to say thank you to all three of them for the advice. That's very kind of you. And I will be calling upon you on more than one occasion, by the way, for further advice. I might not heed it, but I'm going to ask for it.
Fair enough.
Well, listen, gentlemen, thank you so much. Here's what we're going to do. This conversation doesn't have to end. We're going to leave down below in the links a connection to all of these fan clubs. And also, if you want to sign up for the British James Bond fan club, 007 GB, which I like that little acronym. Please do so. It's right down below. Gentlemen, thank you so much. My greatest wish I'll leave you with is that we see each other in person in 2023. We get to hug each other, do stupid, crazy poses like we do, and have a great time. By the way, we get drinking. Drinking is good. We've got to do something. Wow.
Oh, that's the same.
We have to stop. They are drunk. They are drunk together. Okay. No, we have to stop.
No, we are not drunk. Look, my friend, we are not
drunk. I have to go there for a drink.
He's got bottles galore. But gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. And in the meantime, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience, and we'll see you all real soon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.